Hello friends, how are you? I hope you all are doing great. So in the last lecture, we were doing some practical problems on material and labor aspect of cost bookkeeping, right? And I gave you one homework on the labor one. That question number 3. I hope you all must have tried it, and I told you that I will be discussing it in the next lecture. That means this lecture now. So I'm going to solve this question in this lecture, don't worry about it, but it is very important that you must try it on your own once, right? The homework that I'm going to give you, you must try on your own. Because if you are able to do that, that will give you a lot of confidence, right, for examination. And that is what is the most important thing required in the examination. If you have that self-confidence, I think you can do anything. You can attempt anything in the examination. That self-confidence is very, very, very important, that yes, come what may, I can do it, right? That will come if you are clear with the concepts, if you have listened to all the lectures carefully and solved the questions. That confidence will automatically come to you, right? Okay, so let's start with question number 3. Enter the following transactions related to Kanu and Company for the month of March 2002 in the financial and cost books. Wages and salaries 20,000 less deductions, employees provident fund 1600, state insurance premium 800 and income tax 200. This income tax means the TDS has been deducted, right? 2600. Net wages paid 17,400 and the employer's contribution is as follows, which is not included in this 17,400, right? This is beyond this 17,400. Provident fund and the state insurance, this is the employer's contribution. 2000. From the wage analysis book, the following details of total wages are available. Direct labor is 12,000, indirect is 5,800, salaries to administration staff is 2,600, salaries to selling and distribution staff is 1,600, and 22,000 is the total wages being paid, right? So here you might say, sir, here the total wages is 20,000 and here they are saying 22,000. How come this? Sir, in this 20,000, the employer's contribution is already deducted. That means the total wages is actually 20,000 plus 2,000, 22,000. Right? Out of that, the employer's contribution is deducted, then employee's contribution, then TDS, and the net amount is paid. Right? Now, what you have to do is you have to record the this entries in the financial books first. Right? Let's do it in financial books first. Question number 3. So first we'll talk about financial books. Right? Let's see. Now what is going to be the entry? Sir, will debit what? Will debit wages account debit, wages and salaries account debit. Right? What is the total amount with which we are going to debit it? Sir, 20,000 or 22,000? Just tell me. What is your total expense of wages? 20,000 or 22,000? Sir, 22,000, because this 2,000 is also a part of wages only, right? Instead of paying him, we are redirecting it to the PF. That's it. Right? For us, it is an expense. It is a wages, right? So the total wages will be 22,000. Right? That is 20,000 plus 2,000. That is the employer's contribution. Now, tell me what is paid in cash to cash. What amount has been paid in cash? So 20,000 minus 1,600 minus 800 minus 200. So the net salary that the employee is taking home in cash is 17,400. Any doubt? This he is taking away in cash. Rest all are the contributions or the TDS being deducted. Right? So he is taking home cash is 17,400. Sir, what is the amount of TDS? So we can write it as TDS, that is 200. Right? Then contribution to Provident Fund. Provident Fund, how much is the total contribution? 1,600 plus 1,600, and for the state insurance premium, ESI, that is 800 plus 400. So the PF total PF is 1600 plus 1600, that is 3200, and the total this state insurance premium is 800 by the employee plus 400 by the employer, that is total of 1200. Clear? So this is the entry in the financial books. Any doubts? Easy, sir. Financial books is easy. This is what you have already studied many a times in accounts, right from the small classes. Clear? The only point here is that the total wages and salaries is 22,000 and not 20,000, because in 20,000 the employer's contribution is not accounted for, that is already deducted. But that is an expense for us, that is a wage expense for us. Now coming to cost books, let's see how the entry is going to be in the cost books. So in the costing books, I told you in the last lecture that the first entry is going to be the wages incurred. What is the total wages that is being incurred? 22,000, right? So what is going to be the entry for the wages incurred, sir? That is wages control account debit. That is wages control account debit to GLA account 22,000 and 22,000. Right? Now you have to absorb these wages under the various heads, because in this wages there is direct wages also, right? There is wages of the factory staff also, there is wages of office and administration staff also, and there is wages of selling and distribution staff also. So you have to distribute these wages into the various heads, and it is given that out of 22,000, how much is direct, how much is indirect factory labor, how much is to the administration staff, and how much is for selling and distribution staff. Any doubts? Right, sir? So direct labor is 12,000, indirect is 5,800, 2,600 and 1,600. So what we have to do is, how to post this entry? Sir, where will the direct labor go? The direct labor will go to the WIP ledger control account. WIP ledger control account debit, right? That is 12,000. What about the factory labor, sir? 5,800. It will go to factory overheads. Factory overheads control account debit 5,800. Then what about office, this salaries to administration staff 2,600. Administration overheads control account debit 2,600. Then selling overheads control account debit, I think that is 1,600. Yes, that is 1,600. Right? To wages control account. That is 22,000. Any doubts? So this is the entry in cost books. First the wages incurred, then the wages absorbed under the various heads, right? So the direct wages is taken to WIP account. The indirect will depend upon whether it is related to factory administration or selling overheads. Accordingly, they will be taken to the respective heads. I hope this is clear. So this is all about the question number 3. Let's move on. So with this, we complete this labor part, material and labor part. Right? Now, what we are going to discuss is, about this, overheads part. Right? Now in this lecture, we are going to discuss about this overheads part, and I told you that before we start with the overheads part, your overheads chapter should be complete. That is very important, right? Because I am going to skip this under and over absorption of overheads. We have already studied in detail. That is exactly the same topic Exactly same topic what we studied in the chapter of overheads. Exactly same, sir. Right? That is exactly the same topic. So, what we are going to do? Let's start with the overheads now. I'll explain you the overheads part. Listen to it very carefully now. The overheads part is to be studied in two parts, right? In two parts. One is the overheads incurred, and the second part is overheads absorbed. We have already studied in the chapter of overheads that you have to absorb the overheads. That means you have to identify the overheads in one unit of finished product. For that, you have to do the absorption of overheads based on the various methods, right? You have already studied about it. Clear? The overheads incurred means this is the actual figure. This is actually incurred. Right? This is absorbed on the basis of budgeted data. On the basis of budgeted figures. Clear? Now, first, what is going to be the entry for the overheads incurred? What is going to be the entry for overheads incurred? Tell me. Can you tell me the entry for overheads incurred? Sir, very simple. It is going to be factory overheads or whatever the overheads are, whether they are office and administration. So I'll not write office overheads. I'll say overheads account, overheads control account debit. Overheads control account debit to GLA account. This is what I have actually paid for. Any doubts? Now, what about the entry for absorbed? Absorbed means we are identifying the overheads in one unit of finished product. And I told you that if you have to consider one unit of finished product, that is your what? SLC? SLC or WIP or what? Sir, WIP. Right? So, when you are absorbing these overheads into one unit of finished product, what is going to be the entry? The entry is going to be WIP. Control account debit, WIP control account debit to factory overheads control account, to factory overheads control account, right? Now, the point here is it is not necessary that this incurred and absorbed will be same. No. There can be a difference. There can be a difference between the overheads actually incurred and the overheads absorbed. Now tell me, we have already studied in the chapter of overheads. What does it mean? If there is a difference, what does it mean? If the actual overheads are not equal to absorbed overheads, what we call them as? We call them as the under absorption or over absorption of overheads, isn't it? We call them as under absorption and or over absorption of overhead. So first, let's see these two entries. Factory overheads to GLA incurred. Now this is wrong. Okay, this heading is wrong. This is overheads absorbed. This is for the overheads absorbed. So you can change it in your books, right? If it is not correct, you can change it in your books. The further books will be the latest books have it changed, right? So WIP2 factory overheads, this is the absorption of overheads into one unit of finished product. After that we have under and over absorption of overheads. Now listen to it very carefully. That means here we can have, at this point, we can have either the under absorption, or we can have the over absorption, isn't it? This is what is there. if the actual overheads and the absorbed overheads are not equal, we say it is either an under absorption or an over absorption of overheads. What is under absorption? When the actual overheads are more than the absorbed overheads. And what is over absorption? When the absorbed overheads are more than the actual overheads. We have studied about it, right? So for the under and over absorption, there can be three scenarios. This is what we have studied. For this, there can be three scenarios, right? So the first scenario is if this under and over absorption is due to the abnormal reasons or defective planning, right? If the second is if it can be carried forward to the next year, carry forward, right? And the third is if it is due to the normal reasons. If it is due to abnormal reasons, what we do, sir? If it is due to abnormal reasons, we take it to costing profit and loss account. Costing profit and loss account. If it is carry forward, we'll simply write balance carried down, right? We carry forward it to the next year. And if it is due to the normal reasons, what we do? We calculate supplementary rate. We calculate supplementary rate and divide this over or under absorption between three parts, that is WIP, finished goods, and the cost of sales, right? The journal entry is going to be remain the same that we have already discussed in the chapter of overheads, right? Where we discussed about the under and over absorption of overhead. So this is the whole area about overheads. Let's see. So under and over absorption treatment remains the same, sir. If it is due to abnormal reasons, then costing P&L account, otherwise supplementary rate, or you can carry forward it, right? Carried over to the next period, right? And supplementary rate, you all know how to calculate. I'm not going to spend the time on this now, right? So the overheads I told you can be any factory overheads. If it is office and administration overheads, then also it is simple, sir. Office and administration overheads control account to GLA, right? Then you have to, when you have to absorb this office and administration overheads to WIP or production, then WIP to office and administration. And if you are absorbing this office and administration overheads in FG, that is the finished goods, directly instead of WIP, you can absorb this in the finished goods also directly, right? So it will be finished goods ledger control account to office and administration overheads control account. Clear? Any doubts up till this point? So this is about the overheads. If you want, you can make this flow chart if any one of you wants to make it, right? You can make this flow chart in your notebooks. This is the crux of overheads, actually incurred and absorbed. So basically, when we talk about the overheads from the practical point of view, there are going to be three entries, right? So the first entry will be for the overheads incurred. So the first entry will be overheads incurred, right? Then the second entry will be about the overheads absorbed. And the third entry will be under or over absorption of overheads. Under or over absorption of overheads. Right? Now, I'll give you a small exam tip regarding this. Whenever you have a question on the cost accounting book system and you get this question on the overheads and there is an under or over absorption of overheads, in the cost accounting system chapter specifically, in the question it will not be specified that whether the under absorption or over absorption is due to abnormal reason or normal reason or it is to be carried forward. It will not be specified in the question. Then sir, what to do in that case? In that case, either you take it as abnormal or you carry forward it to the next year, right? Do not get into the calculation of supplementary rates. In fact, the information for supplementary rates will be not given. This is 90% chance. 10% chance can be there that the information is given in such a way that it directly hints at calculation of supplementary rate. But this is a very rare chance in case of this cost accounting bookkeeping, right? That is a very, 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 very rare chance. Right, sir? Any doubts up till this point? So this is about the overheads, a very, very simple topic, very simple things, but only simple if you have already studied about it, right? It is simple only then if you have already studied about it. Any doubts? So we'll just post one or two entries, right? We'll try to post one or two entries. Let's see with the help of an example one. Just a quick example so that the things are refreshed quickly. Let's take an example. Say absorbed overheads is equal to rupees 1 lakh and actual overheads is equal to rupees 1,15,000. So the first entry will be for the actual overheads that have been incurred. What will be the entry? That will be the overheads control account debit. Overheads control account debit to GLA. This is for the actual overheads that have been incurred, right? 1,15,000. Now the second entry will be for the absorbed overheads, right? That will be absorbed in WIP because everything is to be absorbed in the WIP. WIP control account debit. Control account debit to overheads control account. To overheads control account. Now 1 lakh. The third entry is going to be for the under or over absorption. Now this is a case of under absorption or over absorption. The actual overheads are more than the absorbed overheads. So this is a case of under absorption. How to treat this under absorption? Sir, very simple. You assume it to be for the abnormal reasons and take it to the costing profit and loss account. Right? So the entry will be simple. What? Costing profit and loss account debit. Costing profit and loss account debit to factory overheads control account. To factory overheads control account. Right? That is 15,000. That is your loss. Clear? Any doubts? Now, listen to it very carefully. If in the exam you are asked to prepare this under or over absorption account, right? If in the exam they say prepare the overhead control account and the overhead adjustment account. Now, this entry, this last entry that I have posted, it can be bifurcated also. How? What we do is we open a second supplementary account. What we call it as overhead adjustment account. So the first entry in this case is overhead adjustment account debit to factory overheads control account. To factory overheads control account. Right? 15,000 and 15,000. Now the second entry will be, sir, costing profit and loss account. Costing profit and loss account debit to overhead adjustment account. To overhead adjustment account. 15,000 and 15,000. What is the net effect of this entry? The net effect remains the same, sir. This overhead adjustment account can be cancelled and entry will be costing P&L to factory overheads control account. Right? In the normal course, you will not be required to prepare this overhead adjustment account, right? But if asked for in the examination, that the entry is to be posted in this way. Otherwise, in the normal scenarios, this is a good to go entry, right? Directly take it to the costing profit and loss account or carry forward it to the next year. Clear? I hope this is clear. The example is clear. Now the similar example, you can do it for the over absorption. So with this, we complete this overheads. We have this question number 4 now on the overheads, which we'll take up in the next lecture. And in the next lecture, we'll discuss about the finished goods also and try to complete all the concepts in the next lecture. Then we'll be left with only the practical part, right? So see you guys in the next lecture. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you so much.